Hello, and thanks so much for joining me here today. As you can see, I don't have anything on my face today. My face is makeup free at the moment, and that is because I am going to be doing a full face of Manasi 7 for you. I'm so excited about this video. I've really been looking forward to doing it. And before I jump into putting makeup on my face, which I'm very excited to get this makeup on my face, I did just want to tell you some things about the brand. Most of you are probably pretty familiar with the brand, but just to let you know, the brand was founded by Suzanne Manasi. She founded the brand in 2018. This is a Swedish minimalistic beauty brand, but the products are produced in Italy. Suzanne Manasi is of Indian heritage, so she is a woman of color. And I think her background does inform her desire and the brand's ethos to cater to all skin tones. Again, this brand was founded in 2018, whereas I know now it is more of a mainstream desire for brands to cater to all skin tones, but she was definitely ahead of the curve in that the ingredients are almost all organic, made from raw materials. The preservatives are extracted from minerals, flowers, and wild plants to harness their properties, color, quality, and scent. Sustainability is definitely at the core of this brand. Nothing is mass produced. It is small batch to minimize waste and support small scale farmers. The formulas are all biodegradable. The formulas at their core are a blend of natural, wild harvested, and certified organic butters, waxes, and oils. The ingredients are all certified by EcoCert, and they also do not use any palm oil in their formulations. There may be some palm oil derived ingredients, but they are all CSPO certified. So that means they are Cosmos certified in that they are from sustainable sources. I think it is very, very difficult in this day and age to be completely palm oil free, in that it is very, very difficult to find ingredients that are completely free of palm oil derivatives. But like I said, if they do have any derivatives from palm oil, Manasi makes sure that they are CSPO certified. And then in terms of their packaging, which I have to say, their packaging is absolutely stunning. Their paper boxes are derived from wood that grows in sustainably managed forests. And I just want to show you their boxes, which are absolutely beautiful. You can see that they're very sturdy, not unlike the Boxwala packaging, the Boxwala boxes that you may be familiar with. Very, very sturdy with beautiful lettering that's stamped on there. I mean, every detail is just exquisite. So the boxes are lovely. Like I said, they are made from paper that grows in sustainably managed forests. The jars themselves are plant-based jars, and the cellulose that is used in here comes from sustainably managed forests. These are not plastic jars, these white jars that the all over colors come in and that the eye colors come in. So you cannot put these in your curbside recycling. You can send these back to Manasi to recycle. You can also put them in TerraCycle. And I will encourage you, if you do have Manasi products or you plan on buying Manasi products, go to their website, to the FAQs, and they tell you which products have plastic packaging and which do not, so that you can figure out how to recycle them. I think they said that their powder is the only package that has plastic. Their mascara is glass. So anyway, you can go to their website to see how to recycle their packaging specifically. I also wanted to show you this because I did get this beautiful kit, or this set, and it is just such lovely packaging. I'm just gonna keep on saying that. And this is the presentation. My hair got caught in there. This is the presentation of this set. Just really lovely. Like I said, just well thought out, beautifully presented, but in a very minimalistic way. I also wanted to mention too that there is no talc in their formulas. And also they do use mica, but it is ethically sourced from Northern Europe. So there is no sketchy labor practices involved. And because of all these things, like the ethically sourced mica, making sure that any palm oil derivatives are CSPO, you know, all these certifications, the EcoCert certifications, the dedication to sustainability, the small batch, supporting small farmers, all of these things are going to make for a higher price tag. So just so that you know, Manasi does sit in that luxury space in terms of, you know, green beauty, clean beauty, whatever you want to call it. eco beauty. It is in that luxury space, so it does have a higher price tag. So having said all that, and now that you have this introduction to the brand, let's go ahead and get some makeup on. Before I do put makeup on my face, I do want to talk about skincare because my skin does lean normal to dry, and with the skin enhancer, it is important to make sure your skin is very well moisturized. Many of you gave me that helpful hint when I spoke about these products in a previous video, and that was very, very helpful, I have to say. So let me talk about my skin prep. I didn't wash my face this morning. I just splashed it with water. That's pretty much what I do almost every morning. So I use Nini Organics Rain to mist my face. I have been loving this stuff so much lately. And then I used my typical staple Sahara Rose Hydra C Serum. I love this stuff, as you guys know. This is a huge staple of mine. And then what I did is I used the Once in a Pink Moon Capricorn Moisturizer, about a pump and a half of this, with a couple of drops of the La Par Smooth Operator Oil. I spoke about these, I believe, in my most recent video where I did my January and February favorites. I've been using this combination so much over the last several months. Love these two together. So that is what I used to basically take care of my face this morning and also prime my skin for this skin enhancer, basically my foundation for the morning. I also wanted to give a shout out to the Bloom Effects Black Tulip Facial Treatment. And I'm going to talk about this more in a couple of videos. Bloom Effects actually sent me this recently and I have fallen in love with it. It is amazing. I used this last night. I've been using this on top of my skincare as like an overnight moisturizer mask. And I'm highlighting it real quick because Boxwalla is putting this in their April beauty box. So I just wanted to give this a shout out because when I woke up this morning, my skin felt amazing. I really have been loving this as both a mask and as an overnight treatment, basically. So I just wanted to give you guys the heads up that if you're thinking about the April box, I really, really love that. So I feel like that also kind of gave me good skin prep for this morning. So that basically is my skincare in a quick little wrap up there. So now I'm going to dive into the skin enhancer, and the color that I have is Sarcoline. And the one thing I will say that is a little bit of a downside of this line is these pots all look the same. So it's hard to know what you're reaching for unless you have really, really good eyesight and you can read the teeny tiny little type on the bottom, which I cannot. So what I have done is I have these little labels underneath with my own handwriting on there, which is larger than the type that Manasi has, so that I can read these a lot easier. So that has been very helpful. So what I have is the color Sarcoline in the Skin Enhancer, and this is their light to medium shade with golden undertones. They also have Beechwood, which is medium to deep, and they have Jamocha, which is for deeper skin tones. So Sarcoline, I wasn't too sure about how it was going to work out with my skin. When I used it before and my skin was not well moisturized, it was a little bit chalky, didn't really work very well for me, and I was a little bit skeptical about the color. But since I got the helpful hints from you all, I have been playing with it and it has really been amazing. Like I said in that previous video, the longer it was on my skin, the better it looked. And now that I've been doing better skin prep, I love it from the get-go. I also have Eburnian, which is their light ivory color, and this is going to lighten up your foundation and concealer while keeping the same undertone of whatever foundation you're using. And this I am actually loving more than I thought I would. So let's go ahead and get in action. I have a mirror down here so I don't have to keep looking in the viewfinder. And what I've been doing is using a very small sort of like pencil brush. This is a very old Terry Miyahira brush. I don't know where she has gone as of late. She seems to have disappeared from the social media world. Anyway, I've been doing 2 small dots under my eyes and then with the same brush, and I just go into the lid here because you don't need very much. I go into Sarcoline and basically do 2 dots of maybe a little bit more because I didn't get as much on my right eye. Just go right under my eyes like that, and then I take my concealer brush and just start to blend that. And I can probably use just a little bit more of the Sarcoline. So I'm just gonna do a couple more dabs. And then what I'm gonna do is start dotting Sarcoline around my face. And then I'm gonna continue on with the concealer brush, which has a mix of the Eburnian I'm going to bring that up on my lid as well. And I'm going to start bringing this down my nose where, as you can see, I have redness. And I also have redness around here. So I want a little bit of that white to kind of come down here. And then I'm going to take the, what is this, the Real Techniques. I think that, I forget what the name of this brush is. I think this is their setting brush, that's what it is. And I'm gonna use this to blend out, oh, I was gonna put my hair back, oh well. I'm gonna use this to blend out the rest of it. And I'm gonna actually turn on a light here because I thought I had some good natural light. It's getting a little bit darker outside with the clouds coming through, so I just turned on a little bit of my ring light. So I just turned my ring light on just a little bit. I really want there to be as much natural light as possible so you can really see what's happening with this whole makeup look. So I have found that doing this makeup, just this base makeup, has turned out to be a lot more low maintenance than I thought it was gonna be. I'm actually gonna pull my hair back. So I was kind of thinking that the pots and then having to use the white and the Sarcoline, you know, the Eburnian and the Sarcoline was gonna be really high maintenance, but it's actually turned out to be much easier than I thought it was gonna be. I needed to get out the door really fast yesterday. I was in a really big hurry, and so I tested this yesterday. I really needed to do my makeup just like super fast, like in 5 minutes, and I tested this out and I was able to do it really, really quickly. And so I'm actually very, very surprised with how easy it is to do this makeup, how low maintenance it is. And I was also really pleasantly surprised that I could do it with a brush and not get my hands messy, which isn't a really big deal. I don't mind, you know, pouring out, you know, like a tinted moisturizer, slapping it on my face and washing my hands and doing a quick eyeliner and mascara and running out the door. But for whatever reason, I just wanted to be able to use brushes for this, and I'm very pleasantly surprised that I can. Now, of course, I can just kind of like pat my hands over this just to kind of like make sure it's all set in and that my, you know, the warmth of my fingers just kind of gets it settled in there a little bit more and blends it in, but I don't even really feel like I need to do that. So anyway, I feel like it's a good color match. I feel like having the white underneath my eyes blended with the Sarcoline, it just kind of helps tamp down the dark circles that I typically have when I wake up in the morning. I just really like the skin-like finish. It's not overly dewy. It just kind of gives that really natural sort of satin slash slightly dewy finish. Really natural. It's not too high coverage. I am not really into high coverage foundation. I like light to medium type of coverage, but I really feel like you could build this very easily because it is a very highly pigmented foundation. So yeah, I just really like it. I think it's very versatile. I think that, you know, it is on the expensive side though. If you're between colors and you do need to have two different products, like let's say Sarcoline isn't dark enough for you and you would need to purchase Beechwood to create your own color. That is a little bit on the expensive side because I think these run between $40 and $50. So that is a little bit on the expensive side. But if you can afford it and, you know, the ethos of this company is very aligned with you, then I think it is absolutely worth it. I think it's a beautiful product. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Skin Enhancer. It has turned out to be definitely a big winner for me. So moving on to, let's see. Oh, I think before I move on to the all over color in terms of cheek color, I want to talk about Manketti and Kobicha, which they're all over colors, but I think these are sort of all over colors that can double as bronzers. So let me show you Manketti first. This is a creamy cafe au lait color. Like I said, doubles as a bronzer. It's a neutral light brown. They also refer to it as a sandy beige color on the website. So I'm gonna start with it on my nose. And I don't think I mentioned that I do have light to medium olive tone skin. I know I say that so much on my channel, but for those of you who are new and have never heard me say that, that's what my skin tone is. NC30 in the MAC world. So this is Manketti, and it just kind of barely shows up on me. And right now at this time of year, being beginning of March, this is definitely my, the palest that I am. So I don't know as if this would show up on me at all in the summertime, but this is what it looks like on me. And this is all I'm gonna do of Manketti because I feel like I have a lot of things to put on my face to show you. So that is Manketti. I think if you are lighter than me, this would be a really, really beautiful bronzer. For me, I don't know as if I would get Manketti again, just because it's so light. It just really barely shows up on me. I would say for me, I think it's almost gonna be more of a highlighter. This is very dewy on my skin. I think it's really beautiful. I don't know if you can tell, but it kind of gives me a nice sort of glowy hue that is just slightly tinted. So it's really, really pretty. I mean, I really like it, but I don't think it's doing much for my skin in terms of color. On the other hand, in terms of the all over color that's going to double as a bronzer for me, Kobicha is definitely where it is at. And this is Kobicha, a medium brown, which doubles as a bronzer. And here's a swatch of it. And you'll notice that I transitioned kind of abruptly into applying this to my cheeks, which I apologize for. I don't know what happened. I think I just lost a little bit of footage. You'll see the transition is pretty abrupt, and I apologize for that. And because it doubles as that bronzer, I'm going to put this up here on my forehead. So hopefully you are seeing my skin warm up. I feel like I'm starting to come alive a little bit here. I feel like I was looking pretty pale and not very alive at the start of this video. I do really like this Merit brush for bronzer. I do just sometimes go right into the pot. Not very often, because I really do prefer my fingers, but I just want to show those of you who do like using brushes that you absolutely can dive into the pot and use a brush. And then of course I also really like putting it on my eyelids. So yeah, so this is Kobicha in action, which for me is definitely one of the stars of the Manasi all over color collection. And in my personal collection, absolutely love it. This is a color I feel like I will always want to have. All right, so that is Kobicha. So I think I had to tinker with the light one more time. I was getting a little bit washed out possibly. So one thing that I'm gonna do is I'm taking the setting brush and I'm just going to kind of balance it out a little bit. I think maybe I took Kobicha down a little bit too close here alongside my nose. So I just kind of want to balance that out just a little bit, just to kind of smooth out any edges before I go into the all over color for blush. So let's go ahead and do that though. And I have Etruscan, and I have Damaskino, and I have Duras, and I have Heliotrope. And now I did a poll over on Instagram yesterday, and let me just double check it. I'm pretty sure that it is over, but I just want to make sure there were no last votes yeah, there were no last votes. So Damaskino definitely won out, which I don't know, I don't think I was super surprised by. I thought maybe Heliotrope was going to win because that is such a interesting and unique color, which I'll go ahead and show you first. So this is Heliotrope, which is a bluish purple pink, and they call it daring yet very sophisticated. So let me just go ahead and show you this on my hand, because this is super surprising, or at least it was very surprising to me, because it looks kind of scary in the pot, but when you put it on your cheeks, it actually is not as scary as you would think. It kind of turns out to be more pink. And I'm gonna just leave it on my hand here first, because since Damaskino won, I want to honor that. And I'm gonna put Damaskino on my cheeks by itself first so that you all can see that. And then Etruscan actually was the second favorite after Damaskino. And this is a warm, dusty rose that's going to give you a natural flush. They also refer to it as a neutral antique rose pink with earthy undertones. They just have all kinds of really lovely descriptions on their website. So let's show you Etruscan. This one I have not worn that much. I feel like this is going to be more of a springtime color. But that is Etruscan right next to Heliotrope. Let me get a little bit more on there. So that's Etruscan. And then I'm going to show you Duras, which I have talked about quite a bit. I think I can probably get some footage of me while I'm putting this on my hand on the screen so that you can see me putting it on my cheeks. This one is just a huge, huge favorite of mine. I've got it on my hand here, but let me show it to you on the screen here. Actually, I forgot to do that. Duras is a calm, neutral brown. They also refer to it as a cool purple pink brown. This is just sort of like my precious. I mean, I feel like if there was a color sort of created for me, it would be Duras. So this is Duras right here. It is just super flattering, very easy to use, and it just really works very, very well on me. And so let's move on to Damaskino. The description is a berry pink red. They also call it a cool reddish pink that was inspired by cooler tones of cold air and autumn nights. All right, so I'm gonna do a couple things with the Damaskino because it is really, really fun to play with. So first off, I'm gonna put it on my cheeks, just straight up with my fingers so that you can see the color. And I just always like to go in on the apples of my cheeks. That's just kind of what I like to do. And then I blend it out. So, I mean, you can see it's just sort of that, like, I know the cold girl color aesthetic is what's been hot. The cold girl is what's been hot, what's been really popular lately. And this color is definitely, gives you that, wintry vibe, just in from the cold. And it's just really kind of healthy looking, makes it look like you were just out for a run in the wintry weather. But as you can see, if you just blend it out, it just gives like a really healthy flush. And I see that I'm kind of, I don't know, hopefully you can see that. Now I don't even think I need the ring light on at all. Turning that ring light off, but I've kind of got the sun coming in on me. So I'm just dealing with natural light here, guys. So this is what Damaskino looks like. I'm gonna put on a little bit more, just very sheared out. And I will swatch it. So that's the swatch of Damaskino, so you can see the color, that it's just a true berry color, but you can really sheer it out if you want to. So you don't need to be, you know, afraid of this color. Oop, got a little bit high up there on my nose. Didn't mean to go that far. All right, so that is what Damaskino looks like, obviously, on my skin. Very pretty. Now, what I did yesterday, actually, when I was flying out the door, I actually had enough time to do this. So what I did is I took the Eburnian, this is the white color, and I just dabbed a little bit of the Eburnian on my cheeks. And then I took the Damaskino, because I just wanted to see what it would look like when I blended these two together. And I just got the prettiest color. So what the Eburnian does is it actually intensifies the pigment. And I don't really want to use my setting brush, so I'm just gonna keep using my fingers because the setting brush has the foundation on it, so that's gonna change up the color. So what the Eburnian does is it actually kind of makes the pigment more opaque. I felt like that was really pretty. So I'm just super excited to have the Eburnian not only for the foundation, but to play with blush colors, and not only with the Manasi blush colors, but with all the cream blush colors that I have, to just kind of, you know, tinker and play with the pigmentation and just the different hues and tones that it gives the blush. So yeah, I just feel like that's really pretty. So that is Damaskino. I'll show you Damaskino on my lips as well after I finish my eyes. So yeah, so that's Damaskino. Now let me show you Heliotrope, because you'll just see, even though I've got Damaskino on, Heliotrope does not turn into this crazy purple color. On me at least. I mean, and I have olive tone skin, so it just kind of turns into almost a brighter version of Damaskino. It's really interesting. So that is Heliotrope. I mean, it's just really wild. It's really wild what olive skin does. I mean, I have to tell you, like, I mean, what blush does on olive skin, like with the Phytosurgeon's condensate. I mean, I thought it was just gonna be this really muddy color, but it turned into this really pretty muted pink. And then this Heliotrope, I mean, that's Heliotrope right there on my finger. And it just kind of turns into this really pretty kind of subtly purple berry color. I don't know. So that's Heliotrope, which I think I will kind of make sure I'm blurring out the edges a little bit with my brush. So with Heliotrope and Damaskino, I just get like a really pretty berry kind of flush. I just feel like it's very, very flattering on olive tone skin, I have to say. I just really, really like it. Etruscan, I think I'm gonna pass on Etruscan today because I just think it's gonna turn into a really weird look on my skin. I just don't think that really peachy, earthy kind of color is gonna blend. I was thinking maybe I could just layer everything on top of each other today, but I just don't think that's gonna work. I think the Damaskino and the Heliotrope was okay layering on top of each other, but I don't think Etruscan's gonna work out today. So here you see Etruscan swatched, here you see Duras. I think I hopefully have included the Duras footage, but I will do Etruscan at a later date. All right, so moving on to eyes, I do wanna talk about the custom eyebrow quad. I got it in Earth and Clay. I think that's the only one they have, at least right now. I just love this box. I don't know why, for whatever reason, this box I just feel like is my favorite box that they have. And I love how the product itself just sits in this box. That's how I keep it on my shelf with all my makeup. I don't know, I just love how it looks. So this is what the quad looks like. Like I said, it's their eye and brow quad. There's 4 neutral earth tones in here. There's ivory, there's a light brown, which is an ashy brown. There is a medium brown, which is a cool tone brown, and then there's almost black. And these are certified organic powders with plant-derived squalene. I'm actually not going to put this on my eyes as a whole eye look because I feel like that is what I do all the time, and it's not going to be anything that interesting for you guys. I mean, basically what I do, and I've been doing this a lot, and it's really lovely and beautiful, but very simple, is I will put this one as an all-over wash, and then I use this one really close into the lash line, and then I use this the darkest one, almost as an eyeliner, but not too close into the waterline because I find it to be just slightly irritating, not too bad, but I just don't want to really get it in there too far. So I use this to line my eyes, but not really, you know, super intensely into my waterline. But what I am going to do today is I am going to use this ivory to just kind of act as a little bit of a primer, since my eyelids have quite a bit of oil on them from my skincare. So I am going to use this almost as like a setting powder for my eyelids. And as you can see, it doesn't, on my skin tone at least, it doesn't really lay down much of a noticeable color. But that's what I'm going to do here today. So I guess you do get to see at least the ivory in action. But yeah, overall, this is a huge hit. I am absolutely loving this quad. I have not used it yet in my eyebrows, but you know, my eyebrow situation is pretty low maintenance. I just brush them out and call it good. So let's go ahead and talk about Sublime first. This is a cool bronze brown. They consider it a neutral modern shade that was inspired by the yellow birch tree of northeastern North America. Now, this is an interesting color. This one has been kind of difficult for me to work with. You'll see here that it is an absolutely stunning shade, you know, one that you would think that I would absolutely love. But I'm actually not going to put it on my eyelids today because I don't know if you can see it close up here, but if you'll see on my fingertip here, you see how it's starting to kind of fade in the middle there. That's what ends up happening as you're putting it on your eyelid. Like as you tap it on, it sort of moves, so you can never get like the full opacity as it appears here on my hand. So as you kind of pat it on, and even if you're using a brush or your finger, it just kind of wipes away, and it's just very difficult to apply. And it's kind of frustrating, and then it ends up kind of like, at least for me, and maybe it's just because I'm not an expert at using cream eyeshadows, but I just find it very difficult to use, and it's just not very much fun to use. And so then when I'm using it with my finger or even a brush, it then kind of like smudges up here, and then it just ends up looking kind of messy, and I don't know, I just don't like working with it. So what I end up using it for is I just end up using it really close to my lash line to just kind of get a pretty bronzy, like a smoky bronzy eye. And it doesn't last for very long, but you know, that's okay. It's a pretty look that just lasts for a few hours. So that's how I end up using this. But what I want to show you instead is Jardin. Yeah, Jardin. This one is much darker and richer. It's a cool deep brown. They say it has a touch of silver in it, but I have never noticed the silver to me when I have this on, and I've put this on under lights, you know, just like swatching it. I've only ever noticed like kind of flashes of bronze, like warm bronze actually. So this is Sublime and this is Jardin, and I'm going to put Jardin on my eyes right now. So what I like to use is this is the MAC 239, I believe. So this is actually made for cream eyeshadows. And I just dip it right in here. And then sometimes I'll kind of like smudge it out. Actually, I'm just going to use the swatch that I created on my hand. And I just go right above my lash line on both sides. And for a product like this, for me, obviously, I just don't really feel like it's that important to be super precise. I mean, you want kind of a messy look, I guess. And then I just kind of smudge it out with my ring finger, the pad, the tip of my ring finger. And then you can kind of like bring it up your eyelid to kind of sheer that out a little bit. Yeah, and it's just super, super pretty. So this, to me, this color just has a little bit more, I don't know, I think the pigmentation is a little more, or it is definitely more intense than Sublime. So it just kind of works a little bit better in terms of giving you that really nice wash of color. And then I'm just gonna go in a little bit more close again to the lash line to just kind of intensify it a little bit more. And then you can just kind of play with it. So yeah, I just think that looks really, really pretty, kind of dramatic, but not overly so. And then what I like to do is you can, if you want sort of that like smoky kind of messy look, you know, you can still use this same brush and go along the lower lash line, which I'll go ahead and do today. And I'm gonna go into my hand and grab a little bit more of the color. And then if you want something a little more precise, I've got this brush from Rowan. It's a double-sided brush that, you know, is created for their quads, their cream quads. What I do is I dip it into the pot and then I'll just kind of use my hand here. And then I actually do go into the waterline here. I've never gotten any irritation from doing this. So if you do want a little bit more precise work, you can use a finer brush. Of course, go on the other side. And this kind of gives you that sort of like grungy 90s look. I'm sure a lot of you watched Lisa Eldridge's most recent video on the 90s grunge sort of eyeliner, where she intentionally used an eyeliner that she can kind of smudge out. This kind of gives you that same sort of look that you can kind of smudge and kind of gives you that lived in look. It's not super precise. I think it looks really pretty. So this Jardin eye color, what does she call them? That's the eye glow color. I have not mentioned that yet. It's the eye glow color. I think is perfect for that. Now, this is not going to give you, you know, an all night, all day staying power. I think this lasts for me for, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 hours. You're gonna have remnants for longer than that. But in terms of it really staying, it's not gonna stay for that long. So if you want it to stay for longer, you might want to go in on the waterline with something that's gonna give you greater staying power. But yeah, I just think in and of itself, this gives such a beautiful look. Now, I also have the eye glow color in Ochaya, which is an insanely beautiful color. So this is a multi-chromatic warm brown, green, and gold eyeshadow. I'm definitely gonna swatch this for you. This is stunning, and I have been really loving playing with this. This is not as like intense and crazy as you might think. So this is Ochaya. Sorry, I have some remnants of the Jardin and Sublime. I tried to wipe it off, but it wasn't super effective. But anyway, you get a sense of Ochaya there. Oh my God, it's just so incredibly beautiful. And this I have really been loving using, kind of like how I use Sublime, just along my upper lash line, just by itself with some mascara, and then along with the bronze eyeliner from Victoria Beckham. Is just such a beautiful look. So I just really have been loving Ochaya, and it's actually, like I said, it's just really subtle but really beautiful. I am not one of these like lovers of the multi-chromatic eyeshadows. I like, as you guys know, if you've watched my channel, I like things to be pretty subtle and on the natural side. But Ochaya has been a really lovely addition to my collection. It's something I can wear day to day and also feel like I'm, able to wear a multi-chromatic eyeshadow that's not too over the top. So I am going to put on some mascara, the Manasi mascara, but before I do that, I am going to groom my brows. As I mentioned, or as you guys know, I'm super low maintenance on my brows. Really all I do is I just use a spoolie and I brush them, and then that's pretty much it. So let's talk about the Precision Mascara from Manasi in Obsidian. It comes in a glass package, which I really love. It is made from organic plant waxes, activated charcoal. It says on the website that it's going to separate and define lashes, and it comes in a rich black shade. Now I'm going to curl my lashes here, which is something I don't do every single day. Actually, I rarely curl my lashes, to be honest. And I will show you what the brush looks like here. It's a nice skinny brush, the kind that I prefer. And I'm just gonna go ahead and get in here. And I feel like it does do a nice job of separating the lashes, because that is something that I really want a mascara to do, is separate and define my lashes. I'm not looking for intense volume. And I'll do a second coat here, and then we'll just compare my right side to my left side. And so far, when I've used this, I have not had any difficulty with smudging or flaking or irritation or anything like that. And I also feel like it's been easy to use. I don't want to jinx myself here and now while I'm applying it, but I have yet to stab myself in the eye while using it. So yeah, I feel like it does a really nice job. So far I've been very impressed. I've been using it quite a bit and I really like it. So if you are looking for a really lovely mascara in the eco realm that feels very luxurious, this might be your mascara. So I'm going to quickly put on the left-hand side here. So I feel like that looks really pretty, really lengthening, and I'm pretty impressed with this mascara overall. So one last thing I want to talk about in terms of face before I move on to the lips is the Strobelighter in Sunsubiro. This is a gold meets pink shade for every skin tone. This is just so beautiful. I really, really like this. This is a duochromatic medium pink gold. It's supposed to give you reflective luminosity, and depending upon the light, it can give you a pinky rose effect or a golden effect. I've been really impressed by this highlighter. So I'm gonna go ahead and tap on a little bit here. It is more subtle than I thought it would be, and I really, really like it. It's really, really creamy, very easy to use, very easy to put on, and yeah, it just goes on like a dream. And since I only put, I've got that base of an eyeshadow on, but since I only put the cream eyeshadow on kind of my lower lids, like around my my eyelashes, I'm gonna go ahead and put this on my upper lids as an eyeshadow, and that looks really pretty. Really, really pretty. I haven't done this yet, actually, but they do say on the website that you can use it as an eyeshadow, so that's what I'm gonna do. And this is so pretty. Really, really like this combination of Sunsubiro and Jardin. or Jardin. Yeah, really pretty. Oh, I'm so glad that I did that. So yeah, that looks really, really lovely. So works really pretty. And I feel like actually Sunsubiro is working really well with this kind of heliotrope Damaskino combination. Wow, so pretty. These colors are actually really working together very, very nicely. Super excited about that. So, all right, I'm gonna put some Damaskino on my lips so you can see that in action. I'm actually gonna use a lip brush for this. Yeah, so let's just go in and do it. Now this is a color that I would typically put a gloss over. Kind of use this as a stain. And then put a gloss over it. Yeah, this is really pretty. So I'm gonna go grab a gloss just so that you can see that. I forgot to grab a gloss, so let me go do that real quick. So I just had my Summer Fridays real handy, so I'm just gonna put that on. You can see what that looks like. Yeah, so that looks really nice. I mean, just very subtle, just a light berry color. Now, for this look, since my cheeks are pretty bright, and I do kind of have a dramatic eye going, I usually wouldn't have this bright of a lip color on. I would kind of typically keep my lips a little bit more subdued. I'm gonna blot that out, and I'm gonna put Duras on. I am just gonna go ahead and use my finger because Duras is a little bit more user-friendly than Damaskino. You know, it doesn't really matter if I kind of go outside the edges of my lip line. Yeah, so Duras kind of gives you a little bit more of a nude lip, at least for me. So this is definitely much more my style in terms of this whole entire look having a little bit more of a, for me, this is a little bit more of a dramatic smoky eye look. And since, I mean, typically with a smoky eye look, I would keep my cheeks a little bit more toned down. So that's why I'm going for a little bit more of a neutral lip right now. So I really like Duras on my lips. And I get a little bit on my teeth here. So anyway, actually now I'm sort of losing my light. All right, so turned up the light a little bit so you can hopefully see a little bit better. So yeah, I much prefer Duras on my lips rather than Damaskino, just to sort of balance things out a little bit more. I think it kind of looks a little bit better with this kind of smoky eye look. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my hair down, and this is it. This is my full face of Manasi. I think absolutely everything I used was from Manasi except for my skincare. Speaking of that, they do have a skincare line out that I am so excited to check out. I think I might indulge in some of their skincare after my no-buy is over. But yeah, I am just absolutely loving Manasi. Just as a quick wrap up, I wanna tell you what my favorites are. The real standouts for me are going to be Kobicha. I absolutely love Kobicha. I think it's just such a stunning color. Like I said, doubles as a bronzer. Duras for me in terms of cheeks as well as lips, and also on my eyes. I forgot to mention that I love using Duras on my eyes. Duras I think will just continue to be my favorite in terms of the all over color. It's just such a winner for me. I really love the Sunsubiro strobe lighter. It's just so beautiful. And then today using it on my eyes, yeah, I just like that just made me love it even more. So I do really feel like it's such a beautiful highlighter. In terms of the eye glow colors, I just don't think I would purchase Sublime again in the future. As I mentioned, I think between the three or among the three that I have, Jardin or Jardin just I think is just my winner for me. I really do love it. I think it's just so beautiful. The custom eyebrow quad in Earth and Clay, even though I didn't really show that much of it to you today, it is a stunning, stunning quad. It's just kind of one of those workhorses. I reach for it all the time. I use it all the time. I will hopefully show it to you in action in a future video or when I have it as my sole eye look in a future video, I will be sure to point it out to you, but absolutely love that quad. I think the mascara is really beautiful as well. I'm on the fence if I would purchase it again. I need to use it more. It's gonna be one of those decisions that I make, you know, sort of like over a 6-month period of time. Am I reaching for it more so than maybe my Glossier or the Tower 28? That remains to be seen, but I do think that it is absolutely beautiful. And then I'm actually really loving the skin enhancers, and I think the Eburnian, the white one, the ivory one, is a really great thing to have. Especially not only for, you know, adjusting your foundation, but also the blushes. I think it was really fun. You know, when I used the Damaskino, it just turned it into such a beautiful pink color. So anyway, overall, I am absolutely loving Manasi, and it's just such a fun, amazing brand to play with and to enjoy. Similar to, as I mentioned with Salt New York, just kind of like art supplies and just having freedom and playtime and just enjoying mixing colors and just having that enjoyment. And also, you know, loving their brand ethos too does not hurt. So anyway, if you have any questions about Manasi, please do not hesitate to ask. I would also love to hear what you all are loving, what your favorite colors are. So I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. And thank you so much for watching. And if you have not subscribed yet, I would love it if you would do so. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.